Dave, are we live? I guess not. I see it. Little firecracker. Oh, he's like a 40. Yep, I see him. He's a little whippersnapper. It may have to have you take it out of the rod holder in a minute. Maybe. Yeah, go ahead. Just go easy, Ken.
I don't know why Justin can't hear us. Probably because he hasn't turned his volume up.
I can hear you, Dave. I just don't know if we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, we are? Oh.
Yeah, we've been live.
Live in studio.
We are
alrighty.
Live. Catching a big bluefin.
I don't know about big, but.
You a trollfish?
Yeah.
Get it on a spreader bar or on a Mad Mac?
Mad Mac.
Ah, your favorite. Just the two of you today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Joey has COVID, so I told him you're not coming.
Who is?
Joey.
Oh, God. I thought he was a... Oh, well, I won't say it.
Right there, Paul. Hold on. Don't pull anymore.
This is live, gang. This is live. There you go. Beautiful bluefin tuna. Beautiful bluefin tuna.
Nice.
All right. Here we go, gang. Here we go. We got Justin out fishing for bluefin. We got Sam joining us here on the show from Island Tackle. We got Captain Clowers down at the Coronado Islands. We got a busy show for you this morning, gang. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, we'll wait a few minutes for Justin to come back in here and tell us what's going on. But hey, Sam, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Dave. How you doing, man?
I am excellent. I am super excited about today. This is a pretty special way to start out the day catching bluefin. We're going to be catching maybe some yellowtail here soon. We got you live in the tackle store. And hopefully we got Daniel Rubin joining us in a few minutes here from ReelQuick Fishing Gear.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for ReelQuick, we wouldn't be able to do this show. And it's because of the great sponsors of the show that we're able to put this show on. And ReelQuick is our sponsors for our Saturday show. And he'll be joining us here soon. If not, we'll be showing you some videos of his stuff. But what's going on at Island Tackle? Tell us.
Well, I mean, we continue to be busy. It's, after the school starts, it kind of slows down every year. It's just kind of a way it's always been. We always talk about how, in the fall, we're always looking for fishermen. The fish are easier to find, actually, but the fishermen sometimes, they got responsibilities getting their kids to school and everything else, and starting getting ready for the holidays. But this is the time of year where actually, for the guys that complain about going fishing and it's crowded, I can't get on a trip, everything's sold out. This is the time of year where you'll find spots, and the fishing generally is really, really good. I mean, we had that little bit of some weather earlier this week, but it's not typical for the fall. Typically in the fall, it's mostly good weather. So for you guys that want to go, so this is the time of year where we kind of get the hardcore guy in here, the guy who is doing long range fishing or just local fishing and is waiting for the good weather. So it continues to be busy. I mean, Island Fishing Tackle is kind of like become one of the bigger stores here in the South Bay, LA area, kind of area that I grew up in, and we're happy to be able to kind of provide that service to all those guys. So it's been good, Dave.
Absolutely. You guys run a great fucking shop there in Cerritos, right? That's where you're at?
Carson.
Carson. I'm sorry.
Another
Cerritos. What am I thinking? I'm trying to get Daniel the link right now while we're going live. But here, what I want to do is I want to show this. I got so much going on here. If you look at what's going on down here in the bottom, you can see Justin's cleaning this tuna. He just caught this tuna on a Mad Mac. Do you have any Mad Macs in the shop there?
We certainly do. Yeah. I mean, we are pretty stocked up on those. And, I'm sure everybody remembers a few years back when it was a mayhem and they were going for $500 or whatever. But now they're readily available. We can order them anytime. And we have, I think, just about every color, every size available right now.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good way to catch those fish, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing that kind of happened that year wasn't so much that was the only thing that was catching them, but it was definitely the most effective, and some guys would categorize it as an easy way to catch them where it's like, doesn't take a lot of skill, but that's right. In fishing in general, we're always looking for a better tool, and anything that makes it easier to catch fish is what we're all about. Because, bluefin fishing in general has always been something that is kind of a little mysterious. You see them, you don't catch them, they sink out, and they're just kind of hard to stay on top of. This Mad Max kind of showed us the new way. Probably not new to fishing for sure, but kind of on the West Coast, something that we hadn't done a whole lot locally. Kind of almost like a long range style of finding fish.
And today, I think Justin's using one of the smaller ones.
I was trying to see what it was that he had on there. It's kind of hard to see in the picture, but maybe he can clue us in on what he got it on.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
But
what
right
I
on.
wanted to talk to you about, though, is where did you start? How did you get into fishing? Where did you come from?
Yeah, well, my personal history, just like a lot of other guys, a pier rat here, Redondo Beach, pier. I was part of a generation that has kind of come and gone. I think, I got kids now, and I can't see anybody ever just dropping their kids off at the pier and leaving them there all day. But it's a different time. But that's the time I grew up in. I was there all day. My parents would drop me off in the morning and pick me up right before dark. And so I can't even remember why I was there all day. All I knew is that I didn't want them to pick me up any earlier. So that was kind of the starts, fishing in Redondo, working on the Isle of Redondo. The Redondo fishing barge was my very first job that I had. And so I've kind of been in contact with sport fishing since then. And that was 35, 40 years ago now. But that was a cool start for me. It really helped me a lot in doing the one main thing that I really enjoy doing, which is helping people out. You get to work on an operation like that, you're getting guys that are in their beginning stage, just getting off the pier and going on to a situation where they're fishing on a structure like that, and you got to help them along. And we would have at times 100 people on that thing. And every single one of them doesn't know how to tie a knot or how to do anything. So it was pretty cool start for me.
And then as you went on with what you were doing, when did you decide that you wanted to sell tackle for a living?
Right out a little bit after high school, I was in college, and I went in and I got a job at Turner's, and I really enjoyed it. That was a long time. That was 25, 30 years ago or something like that. But it was something that I really enjoyed and liked helping people out, and part of it too, I just like tackle. I like learning about it. I like knowing all the names and the numbers, and maybe it's just kind of math thing. I don't know.
I don't know, Daniel. Sam kind of bugged out on us here. What's going on, Sam? Hello? Hello, Daniel. Oh, there's Sam.
I really
bandwidth problem.
enjoyed memorizing it all, and that's something that I think it's the same thing. I enjoy. Did I lose you? Oh, no.
There you go. There you go.
Am I back here? I was running out of battery. So yeah, I don't know where I left off there, but yeah, I worked at Turner's for a while, and then I ended up working also too at Baja Fishing. I don't know if you remember that tackle shop in Lomita. Yeah, so I worked there for probably 12 years and kind of really honestly, learned most of what I feel like I know now from a small business standpoint. Working at Turner's is a little more corporate. I get to kind of get some of that exposure too, but it's a lot different when you got to do everything, in a small business. It's kind of a different deal, and I enjoy it. It's a challenge. It's a challenge not only dealing with the economy and everything else we got to deal with, but more just dealing with trying to forecast what you're going to sell, how much of it you're going to sell, and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes you, just like fishing, you have some indicators telling you should do this or that, but at the end of the day, you just got to kind of like pull the trigger and make the purchase. And sometimes it works out great, and sometimes it's not as great, but that's part of business. Like you were mentioning this Mad Mac thing early on when it first started. The rep, Jason Hightower, came to me and said, "Hey, this is what we got left. What do you think?" And just by chance, I had a few friends in Ensenada that had been kind of giving me some intel about how good that thing was working down there. And this is kind of COVID times, and I said, you know what, I'll take all you can get. And at the time, they only had so many colors and so many sizes, and I said, I'll take them all. It was one of those kind of big purchases. A pallet of them showed up, and it ended up being kind of like this godsend, really, because at the time that was it for a while because of COVID, and I kind of had them all. Southern California, at least, guys were buying them from Australia, all kind of other places to try to get them, and I had them sitting there, so it was kind of a cool thing. That's just kind of one example where sometimes you take a chance for you, but sometimes you don't. And that's what we ended up with a tackle box or two full of stuff that maybe you haven't used in a while. So the same here.
Yeah. Justin, can you tell us what style and size you're using on the Mad Mac?
Let it keep going. I'll get to you in just a minute, Dave.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. We know you're working. Hold on a minute, Sam, because I'm going to ask you a question after we figure it out. Hi, Daniel.
Good morning. Good morning, Sam.
How you doing?
Fantastic. Beautiful morning here in Oxnard.
Yeah, man. We got some of that rain we got last, the moisture we got early in the week.
No, I wasn't here.
Okay.
I was on a boat for 3 days.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it kind of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, it was like super humid, and we got these like tropical little squalls. It was kind of cool actually. It wasn't really rain. It was a little bit more of a little dampening, but came out of nowhere.
yeah, we got all the rain.
Yeah, you guys. That's probably part of that, I guess. Part of that push. I'm sure that was an effect of what we got. It's been crazy down there. I've seen some of the videos.
Oh, it's been unbelievable, guys. It's just absolutely ludicrous. Today we finally get a break in the action. It's actually sunny today, which is kind of cool because it's been 4 days of just mayhem down here. But they're like little ants. The people down here, they clean this place up lickety split. It's cleaned up. Hey, Justin,
Hey, how's it
there
going?
you are.
Hey,
So we got Sam and we got Daniel. What did you catch that fish on?
what's that?
What size Mad Mac?
200.
The
Okay.
200 size, huh? All right. Are there lots of fish up and about?
Yeah. Up and about, no. If you don't know how to find them, you're not going to find them.
Right.
What
It's not
speed
as
do you
easy
like
as what
fishing?
everyone thinks it is.
Right.
All about tracking them on meter marks and which way they're headed.
Right. Right.
And
Justin, what speed do you like trolling those at?
between like 10 and 16.
That covers it pretty good.
Oh, look, we have one. There's one boat out here. Huh. Oh, it looks like they're gonna blow past us. We're gonna get bit right now. Watch.
All right. Spin it around. Let's check it out. Crazy, huh?
Show you guys what I'm looking at really quick. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. I'll be back in the zone here now.
Just like trolling, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Just like trolling.
Rods.
All right. Well, what do you think, Sam? What do you think of the size that he's using?
Yeah, that's been pretty much the go-to size for sure. The 240 size, which is the biggest size, I know occasionally some guys kind of prefer it, but that 200 size that's the go-to size. I mean, you know, sometimes it's the size that gets big because that's the one that everyone's using, but also too is it seems to be about the size of what we've always used in other types of lures too, whether it's a Rapala or a Marauder or whatever. That kind of 8-inch size I think has always been kind of a standard size. I don't know if it's just kind of what we've been used to or there's something to it, but definitely that 200 millimeter is our best seller and seems to be what most guys do best with.
And if you come to Island Tackle, what are we going to get charged for that size lure?
You know what? I don't know off the top of my head, but seeing as that I'm right next to the computer here, I can tell you exactly. I think they're $45. $49.99.
Okay.
Yeah, and In fact, actually, I need to even check on that. I think there was a recent tariff increase on those as well. We haven't bought a whole bunch this last 6 months because I had a bunch still left from the show, but so I'll probably be keeping my price at least through the show, or until I have to buy a bunch more. But there'll probably be a few bucks more. You'll see them around.
All right. Now, Daniel Rubin, have you had a chance to look at his setup here with the ReelQuick system on it?
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam, I never did hear back from the one customer. Did you complete that rod for him?
Yeah. There was a customer that goes on my 11-day, and we built him that rod. It was a jig stick, I believe. It was a 9E. And
customers from Monterey, correct?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, he was living in Monterey, but he was a pilot, and he had to move to Georgia or something like that.
Huh, okay.
He still comes out. In fact, I think he does a charter on the Royal Star. I think he's out fishing today, leaving today on a 4-day or Monday. So he still comes out pretty regular, and he still does my 11-day. Yeah, pretty good guy.
I'll have to make an arrangement with you to come down to the shop, give you another presentation on everything about ReelQuick.
Have you made any changes to them at all, or accommodated more reels and things like that?
Yeah, we're up to about 130 reels now.
Oh, wow.
So we got a giant list of reels we've adapted to. Specifically, all the McCartys are done now since I last talked to you. So we put the 10 on the smaller reel seat, the 12 to 60 pound setup reel seat, and the rest of the McCartys up to the 50 are on the 27. We didn't do the 80 or the 130 yet, but that's a new line that we've got. And I think I've done all the VISXs. Well, the 30, the 50, or the 50, 70, and the 20 and the 30 are done on the VISXs since the last time I talked to you. So.
And I think last time too, like you didn't have a whole lot of IDs as well. You've increased the number of IDs.
Yeah, so we only have 2 still. We've got the 23 millimeter, the smaller one, and a 27 millimeter, the larger one. But right now we're just in the process of making a sleeve that goes over the Winthrop bending butt.
Oh, okay.
So it'll have almost the same diameter as the 27 millimeter. The dovetail will be the same as the reel seat on the glue-on 27 millimeter, but it's going to be a slide onto the Winthrop.
Oh, okay.
That's the next one we're developing. After that, now I've started to adapt to jig sticks, long jig sticks, where people have the deckhand style, but the larger one goes on it. So you're stuck with kind of the larger reels on a 40-pound jig stick.
Yeah.
There's only some of the smaller reels, but we do now have the HX on this size and a couple other smaller ones on this size too. But the next one we're going to do is a larger diameter hole with the 23 millimeter dovetail. So we could put all the smaller reels on a 10-foot Alua or the 9-foot Cal Stars. So we're developing, it's a slow grassroots grow here. So
that's for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to come down and meet up with you guys, give you a full presentation. If you guys want to carry some combo units in stock, would be freaking fantabulous. It's a really good way to introduce customers to the product, is already having a reel on it ready to go for certain type of fishing in California. So
yeah. I mean, it's definitely unique for sure. Yeah, it's something that nobody else has anything like that for sure.
Now, it should have happened 100 years ago. It really should have. It's something that is long overdue.
Well, part of it too, the machine of reels too. I mean, we didn't have so many machine reels back then, and so that's part of the kind of what you need to have that removable foot to be able to adapt the product like that. But now, that's the way most better reels are made nowadays. Is a lot of machining. It's just opened it up for a lot more. I would even say that 23 is probably still covers. Gosh, it's still got to cover 90% of the blanks out there, really. You know, I mean, yeah, there's some standouts where it doesn't, but the 23, by and large, I mean, yeah, there's some call for some 24 maybe in like a rail rod or something like that, maybe. But that 23 for everything else, I think covers, man, just about everything. And in general, rods are getting smaller. I would even say there may be a call for even a smaller size, really, like a 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
maybe a call for once those other blanks really come into play, is me getting like the accurate ATD on this smaller reel seat and get the Talic of 50 on here. It's, the larger reel seat adds girth and it adds strength to the reel seat when you're talking about the giant setups like on the rail rod size. So, even if it is a bigger, girthier reel seat, we just, you use tape to get it on there, and then nobody knows your grips are always bigger than what the hole is on the reel seat. You don't usually have a really super narrow grip, so you always hide that. But yeah, we're going to need a bigger one, and I do believe we'll need a narrower one if we ever do want to go for the smaller gear, the 8 to 12 pound gear.
Yeah.
Check out that discount he's got going on right now for the product, gang. And Daniel, you could talk about it for a second.
Yeah, very good. 25% discount on all existing rods that we have in stock. We probably have 60, 70 rods right now in stock. So that's a good discount. On the rod itself, when you buy a reel from us right now, I'm going to throw in the ReelQuick foot, which is $50. It's retail $50. So I'll throw in the installation of the foot and the foot on your reel. You're going to need to buy a rod with it. So that's where I get guaranteed a rod sale too. And you get 25% off the retail price. All the rods that I have except one are factory built rods that Seeker makes without my reel seat on it. So what I do is I go to Melton's or Tackle Direct, look at the retail rod price on that, and that's where I get my prices of the rod. So I don't charge extra for my reel seat. It's the same price of that rod, whichever reel seat that they use at the factory. Now the discount is on top of that, so I give 25% discount from that Melton's or Tackle Direct price, and I'll work with you in any way on that. Let me know what you find out there. This has my number right on the front of that flyer, but my phone number is on the top of every page. Call me, text me. I'm here. I'll answer the phone just about any time when I'm awake.
Why?
That's a pretty crazy discount right there, man. I mean, you got to figure that's so basically that's the price of the rod that you would normally pay for any factory rail rod. So if it's $600, it's $600, but you get the ReelQuick reel seat on there for the same price.
For the same price, yeah. So like a 3x rail rod from Melton's for an OSP is $652. That's what they charge with the whatever reel seat they use. Same price. So you get my reel seat for the same price.
That's like $100 upgrade.
Obviously, Sam, the cost of that reel seat's a little bit more than a regular Fuji or Alps. I'm just absorbing that cost into the rod. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, no matter how you slice it, it's basically a custom rod in a way, because that's not something it's something that's kind of going through a special process to get that reel seat on there. And it's like, it's not something that's going through is that something that's going through the Seeker factory, or is that something you're building?
This was made with Seeker. But I have rain shadow rods here that are made from rain shadow wrappers. Mm-hmm. These were made with whoever was in the factory making the rods that day.
Yeah. That's cool.
We brought them, I think the first time, 500 reel seats, and they made rods. They just made a grip of rods for us. But yeah, the reel seat could be sent to anybody to make it. And
that's cool.
Talk how that deal goes, right? This is all made with them, and we made a crap load of rods, got a really good deal on it, so I'm able to absorb some of those costs. I just kind of want to get these rods into people's hands. So at a 25% discount, I'm still making a little bit of money. I'm not killing it on it, but I want to get the rods into people's hands. So people are coming to Sam going, Sam, I need to have this reel seat, man. What do we do? So the more I get these into people's hands and they're fishing on boats with it, the more calls I get.
Yeah.
And the more I have Dave Hansen up in Alaska fishing 8 days with my gear on. Yeah, he was killing it, giving us the best promotion videos ever. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a slow grassroots grow, and I got time. I'd like it to go faster, but it's what I've got right now with the wherewithal that I've got. If we talk to somebody that wants to help move this along, it's wide open. The doors are open to anything. We could talk about anything right now with ReelQuick. I want this in everybody's hands. It should have happened 100 years ago. It's a much better mousetrap all the way around. Yeah, I don't know how to boast about it anymore. You got to put this in your hands and fish it.
And there you go. So, gang, real quick, we got to talk about the Dana Wharf Sport Fishing San Mateo's got next Saturday open. They haven't had a Saturday open in a very, very long time. My sister just let me know that they have it open, and it's a 5 to 5, 14 people. It's $250 a person, 5 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, fishing Catalina. That's a super fast boat. That thing hauls butt, and you can be on to that. Well, you could find some tuna on the way across to the island too. You don't really know what the heck to plan on. They're from yellowtail to calico bass, anything in between. The San Mateo's available next Saturday. It's kind of a cool deal. You give the Dana Wharf Sport Fishing a call at 949-496-5794, and then ask for the San Mateo. Saturday morning, this Saturday coming up, a week from today, and you can go out fishing on the San Mateo, which is very, very rare to have a Saturday open on the San Mateo. So check it out, $250. And then, Sam, what is going on with this yellowfin showing up down in San Diego? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a product of that same push, that tropical push. I mean, the yellowfin is kind of like except for the fact that it shows up, it's kind of like that albacore. Every it depends on what's going on. Some years we get it real good, and some years we don't really get it at all. So it's showing up right now. I know there's a lot of pressure on it because everybody wants to catch a tuna, and it's kind of not that far away. So we'll see how long it lasts.
What's the best way to go about catching that yellowfin tuna right now?
The good thing about it, if you're on a sport boat, I mean, the big difference between the yellowfin and a bluefin is typically they will bite a hook, and so whereas the bluefin, even though we've been pretty lucky and had some good bluefin bites over the years, but not like the yellowfin's kind of more like the albacore. You find them, you maybe on a troll with just a tuna feather, nothing really special, but then they'll stay with the boat typically, and so a little bit of chum, and usually you can get them to go for a good amount of time. So just 25 pound test, old school, just a number 2 hook, with an anchovy or small sardine, whatever you have in the tank, if you can get bait, I guess. But it's pretty darn simple once you find them, I guess. But I know the fish is, from what I understand, has been a little bit pressured by commercial pressure and just guys chasing it around. We'll see if that tropical push keeps pushing more volume up here. We'll see if that's the case. I don't know if you've heard of other fish being found other places, but that stuff that they found so far seems to be somewhat easy to catch. It's just on the smaller side. Probably the one thing people want to catch, 100-pound tuna now. Everybody wants to catch 100-pound tuna all the time. It seems like they're not happy with a 20-pounder.
Yeah, exactly. But there are also some Dorado mixed into this thing too. It's like, and it's kind of weird because the long range guys, they've been on the show. We've had all kinds of different people on the show talking about there's no fish for 500 miles until you get down below that. But then where did this fish just slip in at? That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing too. Typically, you'll see it kind of march up the line. You'll get them on a 5-day trip on the way back, or on a 3-day trip, and then it gets closer and closer, and everyone starts talking about, well, how long do you have to go before you can get them? Or it's a day and a half or 2-day trip, and then sometimes we'll get them all the way up, to a 3/4 day trip, and then then it's kind of game on. Everybody that's got a 20-foot boat can go get them, type of thing. But usually you'll see them kind of march up the line. This stuff kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, in general, that tuna is like that. Sometimes too, that bluefin will show up, march up the line, and then kind of like disappear, and all of a sudden it's in Monterey or something like that. So I don't think we know as much as we want to know about these fish and how they move up the line. I mean, evidence this year about like how that sand bass just kind of came through finally again, and we came through at the most perfect time, the time in which we needed them to show that they're still around. But as to why there's a billion of them in Ensenada every year, and then you don't catch that many up here, you have a short season or whatever, and now all of a sudden they were here like the old days. So and it's kind of like that too. I think the yellowfin in all migratory species are kind of like that too. They don't always move in a straight line.
Right. And it's kind of, if we could figure it out, we'd both be billionaires. But
Exactly.
we just kind of take what we can get. And this yellowfin kind of just showed up, like Sam says, out of nowhere. It just kind of showed up in here. And now we're getting a little bit to score. I mean, the really strange thing is there's nothing down below there. There's a big void area, like Tim Ekstrom talked about a couple days ago on the show. There's just a big void of fish that we haven't ever seen before. It's been a very, very long time. So we'll just take what we can take. Like Sam said, we don't know when it's going to come or how it's going to come or where it even comes from.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even like, and that's just kind of, we're looking at a small little area, how far our boats can go, 60, 70 miles, so that's really our exposure, maybe 100 miles really for, some of the offshore banks. But I mean, most of the areas that we're looking at are 50 miles or less, from San Diego or LA. That fish travels thousands of miles. I mean, there's, like Guadalupe Island, that place, it was like you would fish there and great fishing all the time, but kind of variety. You'd catch calico bass and yellowtail and some tuna, maybe a standout 80-pounder. And then all of a sudden, like towards the end there, before they closed it, it was like 100 pounds was like the regular fish, and then at the same time, when that fish kind of showed up heavy over there, then we didn't hardly see that much of that kind of fish at Alejos, and that stuff was kind of like, not around as much as before. So, I mean, it's something that I think we always try to figure out. I mean, and we need to figure it out so we know where to point the boat, but at the same time, sometimes you got to take it as it comes. And, I mean, gosh, last year, even that fish that was above Bonitas, that nice yellowfin and bluefin mixed in, I was lucky enough to be on a trip down there in November, and it was incredible fishing daytime, bluefin and yellowfin. I mean, yellowfin, 50, 60 pounders, all you wanted. And then the bluefin would move in, and we were catching 150 to 200 pounders daytime on bait. It was pretty dang incredible. And as to what caused that, or sometimes we look at conditions and say, well, if we get 1 + 2 and 3, then 4 will happen. But we just don't have those formulas. The fish haven't really followed any kind of formula like that ever in the history of fishing. We're still currently, I think, in the stretch of fishing here for Southern California, as good or better than it's ever been, really, as far as what we could consider exotics, meaning white sea bass, halibut, tuna, all that kind of stuff that you kind of had to wait for to show up. We're living in a pretty dang good time right now. So, I just can't help but to think that it's setting us up for some pretty big disappointment down the road when it goes back to 2010, where it was hard to find a bonita.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I got a couple of announcements to make, gang. War Heroes on Water is coming up quick, coming up on the 20th of September. It's coming up real quick. And there's all kinds of different things. You can donate to War Heroes on Water. You can be a part of War Heroes on Water by just being down there in the harbor in Newport and supporting the the men and women who have risked everything for your freedom. You can just show up down there, be a part of the parade, which is starting Saturday at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to have a parade through the harbor on the 20th and then, on the 20th of September. And then we're cruising out of the harbor and going fishing the 21st, 22nd. And it should be a really great event. It always has been in the past. I'll be on board a boat in Newport. The Shootist is the name of the boat that I'm going to be on, and root us on, gang, and all the other men and women that are going to be involved in this. It's going to be a great event. And then the other thing, on the 14th, Saturday the 14th, we're going to be at the Bass Pro Shops. Justin, Bottrell, and myself, and we're going to be giving away all kinds of free gifts to the people that show up wearing our gear, our hats, and our shirts. And it's going to be just a fun event. And before that, the day before that, they're going to be giving away that boat for the CalStar or the Star Tournament. And CCACalifornia.org's got the Star Tournament giveaways happening the day before. And then we'll be live with them, hopefully, on Saturday. And then we'll be live with me on Sunday, live from the show floor at the Bass Pro Shops in Irvine, California at 10 o'clock. Or no, at 12 o'clock, we'll be live from the Bass Pro Shops on the 14th of September, which is next Saturday. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is we're not going to have a show for the whole week. We're going to take a hiatus. We're going to go see my granddaughter. We're going to take off. It's going to be the first time I've taken off in 3 and 4 years. It'll be the first time I've taken off the whole week. So I'm going to take off the whole week, gang. So you're going to have to just get by without me. I'm going to be putting up my 3 videos a day, but I will not be having the live podcast for the whole week. I'll be hanging out with my granddaughter and my son and my wife, and my son's wife will be hanging out up in Tahoe, and then we'll be coming back for the Bass Pro Shop seminar on Sunday and flying home Sunday night, and we'll be back to it on Monday the 15th. We'll be back to doing our show live. But for the first time ever, we're going to take off a whole week. So if you're trying to figure out what you're going to do next week, because I'm not going to be here, figure something out. I don't know, but I'm not going to be here all week. It's the first time ever I'm taking off, and hopefully it doesn't hurt too many people's feelings, but I'm taking off the whole week. So there you go.
Did you say the 13th or the 14th? Because the 13th is Saturday, so we should give them the right day.
Saturday the 13th is CCACalifornia.org.
And Sunday you'll be at the Bass Pro then.
Sunday we'll be at the Bass Pro Shops.
Okay. All right.
Saturday we'll be at the Bass Pro Shops giving away all the free stuff for the Star Tournament. Why did I say the wrong thing?
Yeah, you said you're going to be there Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking, oh man, you're going to be in 2 places at once. This guy.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be there on Sunday. I'm sorry. I got too much stuff going on. And then we got Justin fishing on the bottom corner of the show. We got Al fishing in the top. Al hasn't hooked a fish yet, so we haven't been able to go to Al.
He's got to troll that Mad Mac.
Yeah, for the yellowtail.
Oh, he's down at the Coronados.
Yeah, he's down at South Island, or down at the rock pile.
Oh, that's right. He did mention that.
Yeah. So what else do you got going on there at Island Tackle?
Yeah, I mean, this is like I said, the time of year we wind down. I mean, this is the time of year I get to kind of finally get some cleaning up to do. It's kind of just like the boats kind of do maintenance over the winter. We kind of do the same. We start figuring out what we got going on for the next year and maybe what kind of stuff we need to start ordering. I mean, the biggest, I guess, hurdle this year trying to figure out is whether or not this tariff thing is going to be something that affects us next year. I think, we'll have to see if it does or it doesn't. Some products, I think it's kind of more of a scare than it was an increase. I mean, some things went up hardly anything, and some things went up a lot. So it's not a straight across the board thing like how sometimes, other categories might be, that you might buy for other things. But so that's been a little bit complicated in that way. That's probably what we're going to be doing most of this winter, is just trying to figure that out. That being said, it's also going to be a time in which maybe some things we're going to have to kind of like thin down, because, we may not sell as many because of the price and things like that. And so, it's the part of the business that I actually don't really like. I like more just helping people and getting in cool stuff and having good products. But this is part of the deal where we have to be able to pay the rent and make sure that we're selling the right stuff at the right time. And so, that's kind of what goes on. It slows down enough in here where I can do that. During the summer, we're winding line all day long, making connections, knots, and building rods, and just helping people out and staying busy. This time of the year, we're busy, it's just in different ways. So, but we're kind of an old school shop in the sense of we don't have an online buying site. I know that's a lot of. We get asked for that quite a bit, now, especially that I've been doing a few podcasts here and there. We get people from different places and say, man, I want to buy from you, but you don't have a website. And I'm like, well, maybe that's something I'll do in the future, but it's not really been my thing. I haven't really been, the tech guy, even though I've been doing some podcasts and stuff. I'm usually on as a guest, so I don't do any of the background stuff like how you're doing. But, I just like talking to people and helping people out. So I think that's going to be the main thing for us, is just trying to continue to be that kind of shop, that guys come in for help and expertise. And luckily for me is on the other side of it is no matter what happens, the fishing does change from week to week. And I think my guys and myself, we do a pretty good job of staying on top of it. And we can tell a guy, yeah, you're going to need some 40-pound on this trip, or you know what, man, you better bring a jig like this, or hooks, maybe the bait's this or that. And trying to explain to them that a size 4 hook in this brand is different than a size 4 hook in that brand. And that's kind of what we're about. We're about trying to be as up to date as we can on all the products and kind of what's out there, whether it's new for fishing as far as products, or whether the fishing itself has changed and maybe, the adjustments need to be made that way too. So that's really our thing. I mean, there's really not a whole lot more change. I think for us, it's just been trying to keep on top of what we're doing and making sure that we stay current with what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there is a lot to say with the online based, but then there's a lot more to say about the guys that are hands-on, taking it to the different level where you're giving. What I'm trying to say is the customer service is there where it's not there in the online. And that's kind of what you've stuck with your whole life, and that's kind of where you've been. So there is a lot to say about that. And just don't get caught with your pants down, and don't get caught when everybody else is killing it online and you're not anymore. But for right now, I think you've got the best thing going, because you are connected to the fishermen, you're connected to me, you're connected to Phil, you got it going on. And as far as location, there couldn't be a better place to get your tackle. It's pretty much centralized for everywhere, right? Tell everybody exactly where you are so that people that are out there looking around can find you.
So we're physically we're at 21809 Avalon Boulevard in Carson. Just from outside looking in, big picture, we're right off the 405 freeway, between the 110 and the 710 freeway. So we're kind of a convenient stopping point for guys going north to south. We actually get quite a few guys that are going to San Diego from like the Bay Area or Northern California, things like that. And so those guys stop by quite a bit. We're just kind of a convenient rest stop almost, bathroom break type of thing. And they come in and buy a bunch of stuff. And then coming from the east, guys that fish out of 22nd Street Landing, San Pedro, or Redondo, or Long Beach, we're also kind of a convenient kind of on the way to the landing type of stop too. And in fact, that's been kind of one of our our big helps is that because we are up to date on a lot of stuff, is the landings, even though most of the times they're going to have everything you're going to want. If you get down there and you're missing some 30-pound fluoro or something like that, they typically will have it, but they may not have, like, you know, frozen flyers, or they may not have, you know, a rig bite leaders, you know, on hand, or they may not have, you know, a reel. Like if they, you know, a guy calls down from Riverside and says, hey man, like, I'm going on this overnight trip tonight. I haven't been fishing for 10 years. What do I need? They're like, well, maybe some 100-pound and a 2-speed. And they're like, oh man, that, you know, I don't have nothing like that. You know, you guys got anything like that at the shop? Nope, we don't. Okay, well, go see Island Tackle on the way in, and they'll fix you up, you know. And so we've been really, really lucky to have good relationships with those guys. In fact, when I first opened up the shop, it's been 11 years now, but when I first opened up the shop, I was really good friends with the owners over there at 22nd Street Landing, and that was a relationship I've had with them since working out of Redondo. A lot of those guys were Redondo guys. And I asked for their permission, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm opening up my shop. Would it be cool if I came down and just, you know, passed out flyers, you know, to guys standing and, you know, waiting in line to get on the 3/4 day boat? I said, would it be cool if I passed out flyers and just talk to people and let them know that I'm opening up a shop? You know, it was, you know, did some social media, but back then that was my version of social media, is going down to the landing and talking to people. And so I was there every morning for 2 months, every single morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning, passing out flyers, passing out stickers, letting everybody know we're opening up. And so that was kind of how we got started. You know, I mean, it was pretty cool beginnings for us, and having that connection to the landings and having that relationship with those guys. And now with Mike, and you know, runs the landing down there, and the guys are Redondo, and even at Long Beach, those guys all, even they shop here, you know, to get their blanks and everything like that. And so we've continued to have a good relationship with those guys, and they continue to kind of feed us that business, because they know that when they come through, we're gonna rig them up right.
And as far as other than tackle, you got rods and rod building materials, so you can take it to the next level, gang, and get all your rod building material. And like we have Tiffany on here on Thursdays, and she does the rod building. And the thing about her is you can get the stuff, but if you don't have it and you're not ready for her class, you can run down to Sam's and get that stuff just to have extra stuff or whatever. So you can always pick up a little bit of extra this and a little bit of extra that. And then as you get onto the rod building thing, you can always buy everything you need at Island Tackle. It's pretty much a all-in-one kind of a store, right? Even though it's small, it's got everything.
I mean, for sure. I mean, we got some freshwater stuff. We actually expanded our inshore area. You know, we have because we're so close to all the different marinas down here, San Pedro, Long Beach. You know, a lot of the guys have been coming in, and we just been expanding it over the last couple of years, and now it's grown into 2 separate aisles just for inshore fishing, and we've got all kinds of cool plastics and stuff. But the rod building, you know, the rod building actually came out of a situation in which I've always wanted to have rod building stuff. You know, growing up here in this area, having Yo's and Arts Tackle, back then you kind of just take it for granted. But those tackle shops were kind of like the cornerstone for a lot of rod building, or rod, you know, design, you know, back in the 90s. And so to me, having a situation in which people could have that again, I think I almost felt like it was my responsibility to kind of bring that back. And truth be told, it's been actually a godsend in the sense that we are able to have something to sell in the wintertime. You know, the wintertime is going to be slow. It's just part of, you know, selling fishing tackle, no matter how you're selling it, but it's given us something else to sell. And there's times in the winter where, you know, the rod building supplies is, you know, half of what we sell for the day. And so it's really been kind of a cool thing to have. And we don't do any of the classes. It's probably something we should do more of, or figure out a way to do it. But Tiffany does a really, really good job of that. And we're just like anybody else. You know, we're a shop that has a lot of some stuff and not a lot of some other stuff. You know, like if I was going to go marlin fishing, I probably wouldn't, you know, start here. I probably would sell them to Melton's or somewhere else. You know, it's not what we do. But if you wanted to know the difference between, you know, this kind of Fuji guide or this kind of Alps guide, you can come in and we can physically show it to you and let you know why you would choose one over the other, and whether you would want to go titanium or whether you want to go with the roller guide or whether you want to go with this blank or that blank. And we have them all in stock here. I mean, we've got over 1,000 blanks in stock. I know we have more blanks in stock, than just about anybody, in the Western United States, I would think, as far as saltwater blanks. And so, if you're not sure whether you want to get, this 40-pound rod or that 40-pound rod, or you like a 7-footer or an 8-footer or a 9-footer, we're going to have them all here, and we'll be able to kind of have you pull on them and then maybe talk about them and make you, help you make a better choice. And that's just the start of it. Past that, the guides and all the other stuff too, let you know what kind of goes together. And sometimes, the online thing, the one limitation is you can't really ship long blanks,
Right.
And so we have all that stuff here. Now, granted, you have to drive here and get it, but we have it here, and it's really going to be probably the only place in all the Western United States where you can pull on a 100J and an Alua and UC blanks all in one house, and be able to compare all three of them. So I think that's kind of the advantage that we have there, is you can come in and really kind of put your hands on that stuff, because it is kind of a personal kind of decision that you have to use some of your body mechanics, or maybe if you have a bad back, or you're taller or you're shorter, long arms, short arms, all that kind of thing. One blank might prefer one over the other. So that's kind of one of the big advantages that we have here, is you can pull on a lot of different blanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Rubin, you can check out his products there at ReelQuickFishing.com. You can check out all of his products at ReelQuick, but also he's going to be down there sometime soon with you, going through and showing everybody what it is. So you got that advantage also, right?
Yeah. I mean, and products like that too. We get stuff in like that occasionally where, it's kind of new and innovative. We have that stuff, whether it's everything down from like titanium guides for trout rods, or jigging, parts for these jigging rods, or something like how Daniel has, something that's innovative. And it's surprising how much people are willing to explore some of that stuff. And sometimes it works out great for them, but they know that they can come to the shop and they can kind of try it on, so to speak, like a pair of shoes, and they can see whether it works for them. It's like everything else. It's not going to be something that is going to work for everybody, but for some people, it's going to be the way they want to do it. So that's one of the things I'm proud of being able to do, is being able to have somewhere where people can check all that stuff out.
Well, there you go. Daniel, what do you got? You got anything to add to this real quick before we jump off of here? Because we got to go live with these guys live fishing right now. Hello?
Uh-oh, his sound is off.
Your sound is off, buddy. Your sound's off.
I'm off. I'm on.
There you go.
ReelQuick Fishing, guys. 25% discount on all existing rods. Any reel bought from us, you'll get a $50 foot complimentary for that reel. Enough said there, you guys. My name and number on the top of every page. Dave's going to throw out, I think, that flyer to everybody at some point, and you'll have my number right on there, so you guys can call anytime. More than happy to answer the phone if I'm awake.
Absolutely, gang. And Sam, thank you very much for being with us today.
Yeah,
Thanks
Dave.
for your expertise and letting everybody know what you got going on down there. One more time, give them your address and give them the phone number for the store. So
we are 21809 Avalon Boulevard, City of Carson. Phone number is 310-707-1205. We are here Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Someone tripped the alarm on the little door next to us here. God dang it. I don't know if you can hear that.
We got you.
That's our signal.
Thank you very, very much. That's our signal for jumping out of here. Guys, be cool. Have a great weekend. Turn off the news. They're all lying. I'll be back with you next Monday. Not this coming Monday, but the